Hello, everybody, and sorry if there's any background noise. Today, we are going to be presenting the outline for the Multiverse Saga Phase 4 rewrite. I've been planning this for a while, trying to make sure I had all the proper pieces in place. So now that I have a strong outline of all of the Phase 4, Phase 5, and Phase 6 stories, and deciding which ones will be in Phase 4, I think it would be fun to play a little Kevin Feige and show you guys the presentation of all of the Phase 4 projects you will see in this rewrite of the Multiverse Saga. And in case you notice, I'm a little cheap with this. I'm using the new StreamYard recording, so it's going to look kind of like a live stream. It might not be the most ideal quality, but you will get to see each project. I'll talk about them a little bit. But yeah, I'm really excited to show you all. I'm really excited to show you all of these projects. And so yeah, allow me to show you. So, this is the Multiverse Saga, Phase 4. We'll get to Phases 5 and 6 another day, probably when Phase 4 ends, because I don't want to overload you guys. So, there are 3 stories that are not being rewritten, but will be part of this saga. So 3 movies that I'm keeping exactly the same. Number 1 is Spider-Man Far From Home. I personally feel that Far From Home is the beginning of Phase 4, not the end of Phase 3, since I feel the end game is the proper ending of the Infinity Saga instead of Far From Home. Far From Home does technically introduce the multiverse, with Mysterio saying he's from another universe and then lying about it, but again, it doesn't really matter. So Far From Home will be the opening. Then we have ShangChi and the Legends of the Ten Rings. No rewrite. ShangChi will remain the same because it has no reason not to, and because the storyline that I already have set up ties into this movie, or this movie ties into that storyline with no issues. And then lastly is Spider-Man No Way Home, which is pretty obvious that No Way Home would get this because it's No Way Home, and I really have no reason to change it, so all 3 of these stories will fit perfectly into the story that I have planned out. Alright, so the stories that you will get to see me rewrite, starting with Fantastic Four. Obviously, there is a Fantastic Four movie in Phase 6, but I am moving it to Phase 4 because the Fantastic Four are going to be a very important team to this saga. They're going to need more than just one movie. This will be their introduction. They are pretty important, I would say. As you see, you've got the Fantastic Four, and Doctor Doom will be the main villain of the story. This is definitely going to be a very introductionary story, but it will basically be the first story you will see that I rewrite that will cap off the Multiverse Saga. And again, watch out for the Fantastic Four. They might be important down the road. Next up, we have Black Widow. Sorry if these images are blurry. Black Widow will again be a prequel story, but it serves 2 purposes. Number 1 is to tell a prequel story about Natasha Romanoff, but also to set up Yelena Belova as the new Black Widow. This Black Widow film will not take place during the same time period as the MCU canon one, because it will actually go all the way back to Natasha Romanoff when she was a KGB assassin for Russia before she was taken in by S.H.I.E.L.D., and you will see both her and Yelena. Next up, we have Captain America New World Order. This is a pretty big story for Phase 4, and even for the Multiverse Saga in general. Essentially, what this story is going to be is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, shortened a little bit with elements from the New World Order movie reveal. It will again be Sam Wilson as Captain America, John Walker, Bucky Barnes, and Zemo. But instead of the Flag Smashers, you will have the Leader as the primary villain. This one is pretty much going to be a political thriller, very much in the Captain America the Winter Soldier espionage style. It's actually one of my personal favorites that I have been working on. And this one leads into several projects that you will see in Phase 4. You don't need to know about it right now, but you can guess which stories this one will tie directly into. So it works as both a political thriller Captain America movie and a big setup movie. So I think you guys will like it. This next one was a unique decision, but I think it's one that needs to happen. We're having a Scarlet Witch solo film. So originally, I was going to continue with the Disney Plus series, and I was going to do less of them, but still have them, because I think WandaVision is amazing. However, the more I thought about it, I don't think that can work. The Disney Plus shows are a problem with Phase 4 because it pumps out way too much content, and they don't necessarily tie into the movies as much. So, I wanted the Disney Plus stories to have an impact, but also you didn't need to watch them. So I cut them out completely. There will be no Disney Plus series for Phase 4. So Scarlet Witch is getting her own film. This will take place around the same time as when WandaVision takes place, post-Endgame, but it will be a more Scarlet Witch-centered movie. And, again, Wanda, being a Nexus being, obviously has a lot of influence in the Multiverse Saga. Again, being someone who is so incredibly powerful. So, this one will be a fun one to write. Next up, we have Loki, which will again be a movie. Loki, we're still going to do the TVA and the Sacred Timeline. This movie is going to be used to really figure out the multiverse. We're going to use everything we know about the multiverse from Phase 1 and Spider-Man No Way Home. This movie is really going to be the one to explain the Sacred Timeline and Kang and the TVA. And so it will still have that Twilight Zone feel from the show. But essentially this show, a lot of what it is trying to figure out what the multiverse is exactly and how it's going to work. Next up, we have a project that is more or less just me as a fan doing it. It doesn't necessarily tie into the Multiverse Saga as intensely as these other projects, the same way that its previous seasons did not tie into the Infinity Saga, and that is Daredevil Season 4. I'm not doing a Daredevil reboot, I'm continuing the Netflix series. This one has been one of my absolute favorites to write, because Daredevil is my favorite Marvel character, and the Netflix show is my favorite piece of Marvel content. I will say that as much as I love the series, it's also the most difficult to write out of all of these movies and shows because of the nature of the subtlety and the dialogue and the beauty that makes the Netflix show what it is. Trying to replicate that has been my biggest struggle yet. But I really do hope that when I do reveal Season 4, it will be worth the wait, and it will be worth all the hard work and dedication and the love and the tribute towards the original series. Next up, we have a movie that I'm sure not a lot of people will be excited to know will be part of this saga, but screw off. We have the Eternals. Eternals will definitely have to be a bit different from the MCU version. And the story that I have for you guys is pretty interesting. At least I think it's pretty interesting. And I think you guys will find it very interesting. the Eternals will have a much more direct tie into the Multiverse Saga while standing as their own group. And I think you guys will like what is to come with them. Next up, we have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, again continuing the multiverse explorations. Multiverse of Madness, I was really debating whether it was going to be in Phase 4 or Phase 5. But now, like, that I've sorted out Doctor Strange's place in the story and where this story is going to fit into the overall saga, I think it's better to just do it in Phase 4, and we can build on it in Phase 5. Again, this movie is going to be completely different from what you guys saw in the theaters. And it's also going to be very different from the previous rewrite I did of the movie. That rewrite was supposed to be more connected to the MCU, and it would not fit in with this version of Multiverse of Madness, which is going to tie into this series, give or take. So this movie is going to be crazy. It's going to be wild. It's going to be very, very, very important. Again, most of these films should be. Next up, we have Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Now, I have seen Wakanda Forever, and I thought it was really good. Like, I just saw it a few days ago, and I thought it was really, really good. Flawed, but good. The reason it's getting a rewrite is not because it was bad, but because I don't think it's going to fit into this saga. Obviously, Riri Williams as Ironheart. There are some things I need to navigate with that because Ironheart is not getting a Disney Plus show in this version, so I do have to work a lot of things, and there were some story beats that I wanted to add for future stories. So while Wakanda Forever will likely remain similar to the theatrical version, there are certain elements I am going to rewrite that will work better with this saga. But if you haven't seen Wakanda Forever, go see it. It's definitely one of the better things in Phase 4. So I know what you're asking. We have 2 more projects, and people are probably asking, where are the team-up movies? What's this all going to build to? It's not building to anything. Well, screw you, because Captain America New World Order, Fantastic Four, Loki, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness are all building into things. But I have added 2 team-up movies to end off Phase 4. Number 1 is the Thunderbolts. Now, you just see a title screen. You don't see a Thunderbolts team there. That's because I'm not revealing who the team is. I'm not revealing who the Thunderbolts team is. You're going to have to wait for that film, rewrite, whatever it is, to come out. So, I will say, Thunderbolts has been a very fun story to work with. The Thunderbolts in general will be very crucial moving forward. So, yeah. But the last story will be Avengers Quantumania. And on the bottom, you can see who our new Avengers will be. You've got Sam Wilson, you've got Bruce Banner, and Scott Lang, as well as Shuri as Black Panther, ShangChi, and Captain Marvel. And obviously, you see Kang the Conqueror and MODOK. Essentially, we're taking Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania and making it into an Avengers movie. Because there's no reason why such a huge character like Kang should be introduced in an Ant-Man movie and not an Avengers movie. Also, clearly, now you have Captain America New World Order, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings, all building up to this movie. So yeah, I will say for this story, Scott Lang is pretty crucial. He's a pretty crucial character, and it's really you're gonna see this story unfold more and more the more Phase 4 projects come out. So obviously the more rewrites and pre-writes that you see, this story will start to make sense as well. Another story that very much ties into Quantumania that you're probably not thinking about is Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four has a pretty big influence on this story, seeing as Reed Richards and Nathaniel Richards are pretty connected. But that is your Multiverse Saga. I am currently finishing up Fantastic Four and Captain America New World Order. Their official rewrite scripts are very nearly done. Then I'm going to work on Black Widow so I can do it in order. The order in which I presented these is the order of release. So Fantastic Four will be the first, then you'll get Black Widow, then you'll get Captain America New World Order, then Scarlet Witch movie, etc., etc., etc. And then I'm not going to reveal anything for Phase 5 or Phase 6 yet, because I think it would be more fun for you guys to just witness Phase 4, then start theorizing what's going to happen. Then, like, we build into Phase 6, and then we get to where we gotta go. But yeah, I am really excited for you all to see Phase 4 and what this Multiverse Saga has planned. I think it's going to be a really fun story. This was just a presentation, and hopefully it's a fun presentation. So with that all being said, I'm Dimon360. Stay tuned for each and every one of these projects, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.